thevoicebeforethevoid.net. Sophie, the ghost of Harvey, North Dakota. Interview with Carolyn Fikert at the Harvey Public Library. And Sophie's Legend Lingers in Harvey Library. From Dakota Mysteries and Oddities by William Jackson. Fair use of copyrighted material is claimed under United States copyright law for the purposes of education and commentary.
With her first husband.
Okay, wow.
And when he passed away, apparently he left her fairly well off.
Okay.
And then she...
Did they live in town here?
Yes.
Oh.
And they lived in a house that was right here where the library is.
Okay.
The house is still in Harvey. It's been moved, though.
Okay.
So when... but she married another man. She had 2 grown daughters.
Okay.
And she married another man. And his name was Bentz.
Last name Bentz.
Last name Bentz.
Okay. Where was she from originally?
I don't know.
Oh. Huh.
And then either he wanted her money or something.
Uh-huh.
So he killed her.
Really?
And first he tried to burn her body he killed her with a hammer.
Oh my gosh.
And he tried to burn her in the furnace, but that didn't work.
The furnace of the house.
Right. So he put her in the car, filled the car up with straw, started it on fire, took the car out someplace outside of town, and pushed it, off. So she was supposed to have burned in the car. Well, anyway, she was discovered, and but before they discovered that, the daughters came home and were looking for mother, and he said she left. She went on a trip. Well, the girls couldn't understand why she would go on a trip without her shoes. And so anyway, he eventually died in jail.
Wow.
In prison,
Yeah, right.
Bentz.
Okay, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Must have been. Oh my gosh.
But anyway.
When did this happen?
I wish I could
be
a little... Just a minute. Let me see what my customers
Sure,
are doing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, let's see. We don't have...
Oh, look at this.
Okay. The Dakota Mysteries and Oddities. You maybe can find something in there about her. There have been people here ghost hunting.
In the library?
In the library.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I've heard many different versions of this. Yeah. But supposedly the bedroom was right there in the corner of the office.
Okay.
That's supposedly where it was.
Oh, yeah.
And someone else said that it's back in our furnace room was supposed to have been the site of the bedroom where she was killed.
Okay.
Originally.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
Wow. Okay, so how is it, what are the stories then after that? What's happened there?
When the library first opened.
When was that?
1990, okay.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, it was built, the house, there were two houses here and they were moved and apparently there were some odd things that happened.
When they were building it?
No, not when they were building. Afterwards,
okay.
Chairs would move and books would be shoved off the shelves and things like that. But and there was even supposed to have been an incident that happened with the computer, where there was a big S on the computer screen when they got here in the morning, and it wasn't a font that they had with the computer.
Really?
But since I've been here, and that's 4 years,
okay,
there's nothing has ever happened that could be attributed to Sophie.
Okay.
So maybe we're not believers, or she's leaving us alone, or I don't know.
Okay.
But the house is still in town.
Yeah.
And that house, no one will rent and live in.
Why?
Apparently, they say strange things happen there.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Do you know where the armory is in town?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay, it's on we're 1 block this way from Main Street. It's 1 block that way.
Okay.
And 2 down.
Oh, really close.
Okay, so there's the armory is here. There's right across the street is the Keller Plumbing. And then Keller has a little, and there's a blue house. It's kind of decrepit looking blue house. And that's the house that was originally moved off here. That's where all this took place.
Really? So somebody owns it and tries to rent it then?
Yes.
Really?
I believe Keller. The guy that owns Keller Plumbing, Gary Keller, I believe he owns that house. And several people have moved in there and tried to live there, but apparently it was funny things happened, or they thought funny things happened.
Right.
Anyway.
Wow, interesting.
That's what I know about Sophie, and yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Wow.
You're welcome.
That's really, that's something. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you look in, I don't know if you'll find what you're looking for in there.
Looks like a couple volumes here. Yeah.
Or is this the sequel?
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's see if what we can find on
Yeah.
on the.
Wow, this is a great book.
Well, of course, we would have to have that here in our library, considering, you know.
Yeah, consider it.
Let's see.
Oh, it's from Velva. No kidding. Wow. 1999. Look, it's the first thing.
Oh, yes, there it is, there it is.
Whether it be the ghost of Sophia Eberlein, who was bludgeoned to death by her second husband in Harvey, or the story of a fighter pilot challenging a UFO in skies over Fargo. I know that story, too.
Oh, good.
Mysteries and oddities invigorate our lives. Oh, my gosh. Interesting. Oh, it doesn't have an index, unfortunately.
No, does it tell you where it is?
In the book?
Yeah, I was going to say.
There's no index. So I have to just, I don't know.
House sisters.
Oh, here it is. Sophia's legend lingers in Harvey Library. There we go. Marlene
Okay.
McGuire.
That was Marlene and Stefina.
Okay.
And she just retired last year.
Oh, no kidding. Wow. So she has all the stories.
Well, yes, as best they, you know. I'm not sure she was a believer, you know.
Oh, really?
So.
Okay, listen to this. Yeah. Unlocked the front door and later heard pounding of patrons. Door was relocked. Room lights blinked off and on several times.
Oh, yes, they used to have some real interesting issues with the electricity.
Really? Huh. Did they ever find a cause for it?
No.
Okay.
Of course not.
Well, then, 2 young boys raced out of the bathroom when the lights went out. Neither of them touched the switch, and they've never returned. Who are they?
I don't know. Maybe Marlene would know.
Stefina was locked in the library, and she couldn't turn off the lights in the entryway. After trying several times, she turned off the main breaker, and everything turned off except those lights. Really?
See, but that's
an extraordinary story.
Right. They were very much, these things pretty much happened shortly after the library opened.
Yeah.
So.
Huh. But then I guess she just moved to her house.
Well, of course, the house had been moved, before the library was ever built. And I don't know how many years in the interim, from the time she would have died. I don't know if anyone lived in the house from the time she was killed until the time they moved it.
Oh.
And does it say when she died?
1931.
Oh, okay. Oh, someone must have lived in a house.
Yeah.
No, someone must have.
Here they go, dedicated 1990. It happened to be the anniversary of her funeral.
Yes, I guess it was.
Oh my gosh.
I guess it was, yes.
Lights are often seen from the window in the Centennial Room during the wee hours of the morning. Wow.
Now that's the room, the big meeting room in the back.
I've been in that room, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, did you have like a book sale in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have another one tomorrow.
Okay. Let's see. Gone home. Heavy cart loaded with books was moved to block a doorway. And Stefina remembers once that she pushed 2 chairs under the table, and when she opened the next morning, the chairs were pulled out. Okay, here we go. Sophia Schmidt was born in Russia in 1889.
Uh-huh.
So she must have been a German from Russia.
Okay.
Schmidt, yeah. Hugo Eberlein, Harvey business owner, 2 children, William Ellis. He died in 28, and she married the plumber. 2 years later, he beat her to death with a hammer. Wow.
Yeah, Jacob Benz. That was his name, Jacob.
Where was he from?
Here.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go, yeah. Into the family car, 6 miles out of town, ditched the body. Broke a window and cut his hand. Tragic accident. Yeah, it's just like what you said.
Mm-hmm.
He purchased life insurance policies the day before.
Yeah, right. Nobody questioned that.
Right. Oh my gosh. He confessed. Life in prison. Died in 43 at 61 years of age. Wow. Okay, most compelling evidence that Sophia haunts the library are icy shivers Marlene and Stefina get when sitting in the chair operating the computer in her office.
That would be here.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. But you've never got any?
No.
Okay. Huh. Even in the middle of summer, she had to put on a sweater. Okay. Sitting in that renowned chair. I didn't have any of those chills. Okay, is this the author speaking? William Jackson. So I asked Sophia to prove her existence by making me cold. Shortly after, the tops of my hands grew cold, then my right arm and leg became icy. Really? Stefina shrieked at the thought that Sophia was doing her thing. With my hands, I felt around the room until I found one spot that was freezing cold. Had I found the spirit of Sophia Eberlein? For the next hour, I had 2 unknowing people touch my left upper arm, then my right. Both said my right arm was cold to the touch. Huh. Could be argued that my mind subconsciously played a trick on my body. Yeah, it could be.
Yes.
Yeah. Then again, maybe Stefina is right when she says, I think it's Sophie. I think she wants recognition of her tragic death. Huh. One more facet of the story. The library was not only built on the lot of Sophia's home, the librarian's office is where Sophia's bedroom is located. Wow.
Okay. Okay.
Look at that. It's all documented.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What the heck? I'm going to have to get a hold of these books. This thing's really cool. Look at this. This is the best of. It's right on the front cover.
There's Sophie on that one too. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a pretty prominent story.
Oh, yes. Heavens, yes.
Oh, Hazel Minor. You know that story, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These are great books. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to see if I can get a hold of these online or something. William Jackson. Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Some of the, are those books for sale out in Frontier as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They're 50 cents a piece.
Okay, I'm going to take a look through those as well. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. Oh, I need to get your name.
Carolyn. And Fikert.
Okay. Yeah, you don't mind if I put this up on my podcast?
You go right ahead.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Very good.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah. Sophie's legend lingers in Harvey Library. This is from Dakota Mysteries and Oddities by William Jackson. I have to look the guy up. It was published in 1999.
Okay.
I published like 4 more books after it because it was so popular. Some guy from Fargo, and he just went across North Dakota. I don't even know if South Dakota, and just like those typical, books of folklore and weird
I bet you
stuff.
find in local bookstores.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But everybody loves them. Yeah, because the thing was, this was in the back of the, see the Harvey Town brochure? Mm-hmm. Okay. They got all this stuff in here, the dam and swimming and the park and all this. The train, that old locomotive they have, which is really cool in the middle of town. And then right on the back page, they got Harvey facts. Harvey has the shortest highway in the state of North Dakota. Highway 91 at 0.2 of a mile.
Yep, that's
a fact.
that's not long.
Okay, they only have 2 facts on here. The other one is the Harvey Library is home to Sophie, a ghost who loves to read books.
Great place for her then.
That's their fact they put on the brochure. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay. So then I walked across the street
to the library because it was right across the street. And I've been in there before because it's a heck of a nice library. And they sell good books. And yeah, they have, it's just neat. So anyway, Sophie's legend lingers in Harvey Library. A group of women sat in the Harvey Library discussing quilting when the lights started blinking. Everyone was startled except for Stefina Gissi, the assistant librarian. I said, Sophie, you must have been a quilter. Cut it out now. Suddenly the lights stopped blinking. Stefina suspects the library is haunted by the ghost of Sophia Eberlein, a woman who was bludgeoned to death by her second husband in a house located on that spot in 1931. I honestly don't know that it is haunted, she says. Something's going on that I can't rationally explain. Librarian Marlene Ripplinger is more reserved in her assessment. However, she too believes something's going on. Maybe it's not true. Why think about it, she rationalizes. Maybe there's an explanation why the lights flicker. Maybe there's a physical explanation. Moments later, Marlene admits, when something happens that I can't explain, I say, oh, Sophie, what did you do that for? Are you really here? Could there be a ghost within the walls of this modern brick building that was dedicated in 1990 on what just happened to be the anniversary of Sophia's funeral? Consider the following. Several times over the years, the librarians have come to work and unlocked the front door. Later, they heard the pounding of patrons. The door was mysteriously relocked. Okay. A patron runs from a room where she was reading after the lights blinked off and on several times. Her curiosity turned to fear as she watched the light switch flick off when no one was standing by it. It was a little creepy. 2 young boys raced out of the bathroom when the lights went out unexpectedly. Neither of them had touched the switch. They have never returned. One night when Stefina was locking up the library, she couldn't turn off the lights in the entryway. After trying the switch several times, she decided to turn off the main breaker. Everything was turned off in the building except those lights, she claims. That's pretty spooky. According to Stefina.
Okay.
Lights are often seen from the window of what is called the library's Centennial Room during the wee hours of the morning, even though the librarians always turn them off before closing. One night, after everyone had gone home, a heavy cart loaded with books was moved to block a doorway. The librarian and assistant could not move it back by themselves. Stefina remembers distinctly once, when leaving, that she pushed 2 chairs under the table that had been pulled out by patrons. When she opened the library next morning, she found the chairs pulled out. Yeah, okay. That's less compelling. But the breaker, to turn off the breaker, yeah, if that, okay. Anyway. Sophia's murder. Sophia Schmidt was born in Russia in 1889, which would make her a German from Russia, which was a group of Germans who went to Russia under Ekaterina, because she was actually German, who had married the Tsar, and then invited German colonists to come and settle in mostly what is today Ukraine. And they never assimilated, and the Russians didn't like them, and they didn't like the Russians, and after Ekaterina died, then there was horrible pressure against them. But then a lot of them left then. A lot of them came to the United States. Some went back to Germany, some went elsewhere, but many of them came to the United States, and when they came to the United States, most of them went to North Dakota. So that's a group, an ethnic group. It's a really unique ethnic group. Germans from Russia, is what they're called. And there's, a lot of academic work's been done on them, and it's a thing. Those are the 3 main immigrant groups to North Dakota that still make up the majority of the population as far as heritage. Norwegians, Germans from Russia, and Reich Germans. And those are people who came straight from Germany. But those are 3 distinct groups there.
So are there any Irish there?
Small group, yeah. There is supposed to be, a population of Irish. And there's Finns, there's a population of Syrians. The first mosque ever built in the United States was built in North Dakota. It's
Progressive.
Well, I don't know if it was progressive. It was just they were a small little community and they built a mosque.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So there's a few little groups, but the 3 main ones are those 3. So anyway, this would make her a German from Russia.
Okay.
In 1906, she married Hugo Eberlein. a prominent Harvey business owner. They had 2 children, Lillian and Alice. Hugo died in 1928. Sophia then married Jacob Bentz, a plumber. 2 years later, Jacob beat his wife to death with a hammer while she lay in bed.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Blood soaked the mattress and spattered the walls. Jacob loaded his wife's body into the family car and drove 6 miles out of town and ditched the vehicle. Dazed and with a dislocated thumb, he broke out a window, cutting his hand. The car caught fire and cremated Sophia's body. Jacob told authorities his wife died in that tragic accident. However, when Lillian, one of Sophia's daughters, came home for the funeral, she found bloodstains in the house. She contacted authorities who learned that Jacob had purchased life insurance policies on his wife and himself the day before the accident.
You should at least wait a month, for God's sake.
Or even 2 days. During the inquest, Jacob broke down and confessed. He was sentenced to life and died in prison in 1943 at 61 years of age. More evidence. The most compelling evidence that Sophia haunts the library are the icy shivers both Marlene and Stefina sometimes get while sitting in a chair operating the computer in Marlene's office. Marlene claims she's had cold chills dozens of times while sitting there. Even in the middle of the summer, she's had to put on a sweater to offset the chills. I don't know if that's the most compelling. To get cold while you're working on a computer. Okay. While sitting in that renowned chair, interviewing Marlene and Stefina, is it a renowned chair? Okay. I hadn't had any of those chills. So I asked Sophia to prove her existence by making me cold. Shortly after, the tops of my hands grew cold. Then my right arm and leg became icy. Stefina shrieked at the thought that Sophia was doing her thing. With my hands, I felt around the room until I found the one spot that was freezing cold. Had I found the spirit of Sophia Eberlein? Over the next hour, I had 2 unknowing people touch my left upper arm, then my right. Both said my right arm was cold to the touch. One asked if I had arthritis in my right arm. It could be argued that my mind subconsciously played a trick on my body. Then again, maybe Stefina is right when she says, I think it's Sophie. I think she wants recognition of her tragic death. There is one more facet of this story to ponder. The library was not only built on the lot of Sophia's home. The librarian's office is where Sophia's bedroom was located. Dun, dun, dun. That's nice. Put that right at the bottom. Yeah, so even that I think is kind of apocryphal. The librarians that are there now, the 2 that were there and the one I talked to about this, neither one of them are these ladies. These both retired. So, but what's interesting, okay, that's not here, is that they opened that in 1990 and then it was, the librarians report all this stuff. And where they built the library, there were 2 houses standing there before that, and then one of those was the house that she was murdered in. Okay, that house was moved about 3 blocks away, which is across town.
So they didn't tear that house down? They picked it up off its foundations and moved it. So,
and so she was telling me that that house is for rent and no one will stay in it and just sits empty. And she told me where it was. I went over and looked at it. I took some photos of it even. And it's owned by a plumber. Yeah. Neither one of us caught that when we were talking, but later I was like, oh. So, the house is actually for sale. So you can buy the house if you want to. And he's currently got the plumbing trucks parked in the driveway of the house there. Yeah.
How much would you have to get to pony up to buy the house?
I don't know. Probably not very much.
And
yeah.
when they move a house, it's generally free if you just pay to take it away. Because it saves people the demolition costs.
That might have been the case with the library. I don't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is, like, no one's taking care of it. So it's, it's got boarded up windows.
So
the roof is like
trash.
Coming off. Yeah. It's not in good shape. Mm-hmm. So it'd probably be really cheap. I don't know. There are people who focus on haunted places, because there's an attraction there. Yeah. Anyway, so they haven't, like the new librarians have never had anything with the ghost. Like there's never been anything. They said after these librarians left, nothing, but that house won't rent. So maybe she found out where the house was. That's the idea.
And attached to the house,
But
and not the land.
anyway, it was on the cover of that book. It said, "Is there a ghost in Harvey?" You know, all the things on the cover of the book with all the different mysteries. And then one of the books they had was the best of Dakota Mysteries Nowadays, where he's taken previous books, put them into one book, right? Well, then on the cover they had the photograph of Sophie.
Oh, really? What does she look like?
Attractive young woman. The first thing, like when I mentioned it in the library, she showed me the photograph of her and her first husband, which they have up on the bookshelf right there. Yeah. Trying to remember something from the Small Town Monsters. Okay. Where he's made the documentaries and had the talking with the townspeople, like their towns where people are willing to talk about it. Like it's not, they haven't shunned it, and pretend it doesn't exist, which is common in a lot of towns where they just don't want to hear about it. Anyone who comes to town asking about it is just a fruitcake and they kick them out of town, Yeah. They don't want that kind of notoriety, right? Well, anyway, one of these Bigfoot researchers, they were interviewing him and he's talking about it. And he said, yeah, a couple of these towns like Boggy Creek, they've utilized this for tourism.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of money there.
Get a lot of people into Loch Ness,
Yeah. Well, yeah, they have
who wouldn't have gone there otherwise?
They have an undying economy based on that. Like, well, Deadwood, South Dakota. My uncle's been going there now because it's awesome. The whole reason that still exists, it's not a mining town anymore. There's no mining there, but they have just a booming economy because Wild Bill Hickok was shot there. And that's it. Because he was shot there, they just get to live forever in those hills and have people come there.
And the TV series gave him a little boost. Come on.
It did, but they already were entirely a tourism town, a tourism economy. There have been Deadwood movies since there's been Hollywood.
That's true.
And there always will be. There's always going to retell that story of Wild Bill Hickok getting shot in Deadwood. And it's just...
Aces and eights.
It is, right, exactly. It's a story of the West, and the fact is you can go right to the place and they're going to make money off that forever. Okay. Boggy Creek has the Monster Cafe. Well, Area 51 and the whole, Roswell. Roswell has a tourism economy. You can go there and have alien burgers, whatever. They have
alien burgers?
Yeah, well, you can. They have people coming there because of just one story in the newspaper. And so that's what the one researcher is saying. A lot of these towns, they just don't realize it, that, hey, you've got an economy here.
You're crazy to be,
to shun it. Yeah. Put up, a 10-foot tall plywood Bigfoot on the road.
Embrace it, embellish it.
Yeah. And, bring them in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, Harvey and their ghost. But apparently it's probably one of the best known ghosts in North Dakota. And Harvey's like on 52 there. Yeah. It's kind of a nice town, actually. They have a Ben Franklin. Where do you even see one of those anymore?
I was just going to say, does anybody have? I didn't know anybody had Ben Franklin.
They got Ben Franklin, yeah.
That's like having a Cresses or something, or a Woolworths.
They have a Tasty Freeze, I think.
A Tasty Freeze.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want small town America, like, it's hard to beat.
God, actually, that sounds wonderful.